It coulda just been overheating and it
On your seat, cowbells are ringing, that's our cue. Gonna share our thoughts with you. Laugh and gossip, spit and tea, little secrets between you and me. Countdown ticking, let's get real. Heart to heart, it's how we feel. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all those tears. Snap a pic of what we wear. Brush our hair, let down our care. Conversations never lie in this moment with you and I. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Girl talks makes our time so sweet. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all our tears. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Girl talks makes our time so sweet. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all our tears.
Morning, y'all. It's 5 minutes and 30 seconds before Girl Talk starts, so you have just enough time to grab yourself a cup of coffee and get in a comfy seat. We'll see you soon.
Catch Girl Talks every day. Follow socials, here's the way.
GURLTAUX, every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams. Scrolling through your daily memes. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. Keeping it real, it's what we do. So tune in now and join our crew. Lights moving through the screen. Click subscribe, don't be mean. Upbeat chatter, it's our routine. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Girl Talks can be seen. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. Update stories, laugh and cry. It's Girl Talk, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Girl Talks can be seen. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX, log in now, watch our show. Likes and comments, let them flow. and see what Girl Talks is all about.
Walking down this road tonight, talking about the things we fight. Addiction knocking at my door. E&T wants so much more. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, together we'll move along. Searching for a brighter day, holding tight along the way. Sobriety's a steep climb, D&T winning every time. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Evening.
I can't hear ears. Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon. It's evening time. Yes, we have switched our time for our show. We are now going to be coming to you at 7 o'clock instead of at 10 a.m. One, Kimberly cannot do it in the morning. She has a full-time job. She runs her own grooming business. So unfortunately, most dogs don't get groomed at midnight. So it's kind of difficult for her to do that at nighttime. So she can actually join me on my show now. So
Yes.
we're going to be
Yay.
coming to you at 7. I hope maybe that more people can watch in the evening times. Maybe it works better for your timing, and we'll see how that goes. So also, so I'm Tori. I'm the host of Girl Talks, GURLTAUX, because we're going to talks about it. No topics are off limits, and it's free form talking. And we will have topics and stuff that we're going to talk about. But I do want to clarify something, because it has come to my attention that my words might be hurting people's feelings, or that I might be offensive, or I have to watch what I'm saying, or some of these other types of things, and it's neither healing nor helpful for other people. And I just want to clarify that this is meant to be a let's see the best way I can say this. This is meant to be an entertainment And we're going to talk about mental health, but we're going to talk about our mental health and the things we're going through and what we need to do. It is not meant to be a self-help channel. It is not meant to be a healing channel. We're not here to help you heal from your problems. If you can relate to what we're talking about or what we're dealing with or what we're doing, then tune in and chime in, share with us, share your comments. But this is not meant to be a therapy session. I'm not going to tell you the steps you need to do. I've been very uncomfortable with having to give like steps and say, do this, don't do this, you need to do this. I don't know. I'm not a licensed therapist, and I don't play one on TV either. So I just want to free form. I might have an idea of what we're going to talk about that day, but I don't want it to be like, come here for therapy or healing, because this is not what it was ever intended to be. We are going to talk about sobriety. We are going to talk about anxiety. We are going to talk about depression, other mental health issues. We are going to talk about addiction, but it's really about our experiences and or what we're watching, what we're seeing, what we're reading, and politics will come into play because I am absolutely a MAGA supporter. So I'm not going to make any qualms about it, any illusions. I am a very, very MAGA person. I am not a hiding Trump supporter or a hiding MAGA person. I am absolutely 100% MAGA. So I am going to make that very clear right here, right now. I'm not going to pussyfoot around anymore and play games. If you don't like my content or you find me offensive, fuck off and go somewhere else. That's what I have to say. And I hope you got the message. And anyway, and Kimberly is happy to be my co-host now and be on the show with me.
Damn, Tori. Tell us how you really feel. Say it with your
Oh,
chest.
no, I didn't say all of it.
Say it with the chest.
But we had a long talk about what I have recently been through. So I've shared it with you, and you can jump in anytime. When her and I have talks, man, she just shut up. Hold on a second. And we have great talks in the house.
Yeah, but you were so like deep in that passionate moment. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna let this happen. Because that's how life happens.
It
Life
wasn't
does
what I
not
planned on
happen in
saying.
steps. Life doesn't happen in steps either. And life doesn't happen in a nice little box. And I'm not trying to say that therapy isn't necessary. It is necessary certain times, certain places.
But there's places for that.
But not everybody thrives off of the same kind of therapeutic processes either. I myself, I'm raw, I'm abrasive, I'm opinionated. I say whatever I feel like saying. And it's not because I'm trying to offend. It's just because that's how I was built and that's how I was brought up.
Right.
Because I, at one time in all of my history, because we all have history, but I got caught up in the self-help and the guru stuff and the feel-good stuff and the tell yourself these positive affirmations. And if somebody hurts you, just be the bigger person. Well, you know what? Sometimes being the bigger person is the most detrimental thing that you can do to yourself.
Right.
And holding in things that you should be letting out or talking about or saying. And sometimes they don't come out in a nice little
and
pretty
like
prepped
for
package.
myself,
So
I was trying to hold myself back, and I was trying to be, gentler or nicer or sweeter or whatever the word that is appropriate there. But I was not being my authentic self. I wasn't being me. And I was kind of being policed on my words. And I'll be frank, the other 3 girls left because they felt like I wasn't giving them enough time to talk. And that I was picking the topics. Well, just to be clear here, it's my fucking show. So if you don't like the topics, don't be on the topics. If you know how I am and that this is my personality and you want to join in on the conversation, join in on the conversation.
Absolutely.
If I'm talking too much and you have something to say, fucking jump in and say something. Tell me to shut up. I got something to say. My husband brought up the point the other day that, on The View, they talk over each other all the time. I'm not saying I want to show where we're fighting or I want to show where we're talking over each other. I have enough courtesy and enough respect that if you start talking, I will shut my pie hole and let you talk. If I go, hold on a second, let me finish the sentence, I might say, hold on a second, let me finish the sentence. And you know what else I have? I have a mute button. I can mute your ass if I want to finish my fucking sentence. But I'm not that big of an asshole. Like if you actually talk, I'm going to let you talk.
Madam's
but
time has run out.
Yeah.
Madam's time has run out.
Yeah.
Madam's time-
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't want to be the only one talking, but
For
I also really
sure.
hate dead air.
For sure.
And if you have something to chime in, just jump in. And the people that were on the show were being kind. We're being gentle with me. Like, okay, she needs to do this, but she doesn't let us talk. Well, jump in and I'll let you talk.
Mhm.
That's how it is. And
Mhm.
I'm being a little blunt and I'm being a little forward because of the fact that I'm tired of being walked on and I'm tired of being told how I need to do things
Mhm.
and not anyone else looking at themselves. Someone recently sent me some pretty serious text messages, but in those text messages, for one, she said, you didn't want to be on the show because of the same reason that I don't let you talk. And
Mhm.
you bowed out because of me and that I don't let people talk and that I talk over people and I run them and it's my show and that she believes it's because you think I'm a nice person, but your excuse was your schedule, but that wasn't the real reason. It was because of me.
Oh, well. I've had a business for 10 years and it happened way before the show opportunity came along. And guess what? That pays my bills. This doesn't. So, like, prioritize priorities. Like, priorities. I mean, this is awesome. Like, I think this is awesome, but like, I had to put what was important first, which was my business, which happens during daytime hours.
Right.
And I wasn't like, damn, Tori, you need to change your hours to accommodate my schedule. I was like, God, I can't do
And
it.
you came a few times when it
And
could fit into your schedule.
Exactly. Days that I didn't have dogs or whatever, and it happened to work out. But like I had to prioritize for myself and what worked best for my schedule first, and which I feel is totally appropriate. And it's really funny to me that somebody would like
Talk for you.
speak for me in a capacity of I left because nobody would let me speak.
Or
Like,
that I
don't-
just run over everybody.
what? Like, I can speak for myself. Like, I'm good. I'm totally good. And I'm not trying to hide nothing. And I'm not shady. Like, if I have an issue, I bring it up front because I'm not the bigger person.
Yeah.
I'm the realer person.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to carry baggage around. I don't want to hang on to shit for 2 or 3 weeks and then be like, well, remember that one Thursday 2 weeks ago when we were hanging out and blah, blah, like.
And you said,
yeah,
no.
like that's not me because that is burdensome to me. So
Right.
there's too many other things going on, like to be burdened. And to me, that's a burden.
Well, and I'm the type
So-
of person that if you say something that I don't like or I'm a little offended by right then, even on camera, I have no problem saying, dude, what
Yeah,
the fuck?
right.
Like that was rude
That was
or that was
inappropriate, or-
inappropriate
yeah,
or that was offensive.
Sure.
And I'm like, there's very little that I get offended by. Very little. I get
Same.
more offended by you telling me other people are offended.
Yeah.
I get more offended by you projecting onto me or someone else what others think or what they think. I was also told
Absolutely.
that Donna wasn't on the show 100% because of my personality, not because she has 3 full-time fucking jobs and lives in California. So, I was a little pissed off about it, and as you can tell, I'm a little heated. I'm a little pissed off.
Donna, one of your absolute like personal friends.
Right, like longtime
Like-
personal friend. Kristen and we were the Golden Girls. She is Rose, I have been Dorothy, and Kristen was Blanche.
Mhm.
That's how we referenced each other. In fact, I just got a box from Blanche that Donna put together, and it's pretty funny actually. She sent me she knows I love hats. Like everyone knows I
Okay.
love hats. So she sent me 3 of Kristen's baseball caps and Kristen's black Kentucky Derby hat.
Wow,
And
cool.
and she also sent me a robe that in that last days when she was going crazy and doing all sorts of weird things, she stole 2 of the fancy robes from one of the really nice casinos when she stayed in the penthouse
Aw.
suite and did their spa treatment and everything. This is the worst part when somebody gets hooked on drugs that has money and access to money. Like she was homeless, but she was living in penthouse suites at casino hotels. So she wasn't living like in a tent on the street,
Right.
except for the one time we found her in a
the
tent on the street.
Right.
But collecting rocks and you know, and Donna and I dealt with our mental health on that in a different way, which to some other people might find extremely offensive. But it's how we dealt with it before she was passed away, when she was still out on her, we called it her walkabout because she wouldn't admit that she was missing when we finally did find her. And then, you know, this is a girl who, if you were on a road trip with her, you didn't stop at Motel 6 because you were tired. You found a Hilton,
Okay.
a Marriott, a,
Right.
you know,
Right.
5-star. She would stay at the Ritz-Carlton
Right.
if there was one present before
Gotcha.
she would ever stay at a Motel 6.
Gotcha.
Hell no. And she was
No
found
La Quinta for her.
Yeah, no.
Like-
No La Quinta at all. So she was found.
Pets stay free though. Like-
And Motel 6, we'll leave the light on. That's because we don't know how to turn them off.
Because the switch is broke.
It's been flickering like that for days. Don't worry, it'll still be on when you get here. Even if it says no vacancy, don't
Yeah,
buy that
that's
shit because that's probably the no is
Yeah.
out. You know?
Yeah, I saw the cockroaches are blocking the light for the no.
Yeah, exactly. So that person we found in a tent with a homeless man who was missing a finger, missing an ear, and had like open wound sores. And the only reason we found her, and I won't say we, but the only reason she was found is her sister, Jenny, is the one who actually found her. But we had boots on the ground, like about 20 people hunting the grounds looking
Mhm.
for her. Last known location and stuff. And luckily, so one of her things is she didn't like to do things. Like personal, she didn't like to take care of responsibility stuff
Oh,
because she made a lot of
okay.
money and she just
Would
designated
rather
people, someone
pay,
else do
yeah,
this.
yeah.
So quite often me and Donna took care of her emails, took care of her bills, took care of whatever, and we had access to everything. So Donna was able to track her money,
Okay.
track what she was doing. And so we got at least like last known location. And she was arrested. So when she got out of jail, she had no ID, no phone. She borrowed somebody who got out of jail with her phone and called. One person called 2 people, but
Wow.
the one person that answered just basically didn't help. And nobody got there quick enough, and then she kind of disappeared. So for a little over a week or so, she was missing. And we did a missing persons. A lot of people got involved. I was on a plane I didn't hear about it right away, and I don't blame. At first, I was really offended. Like, why the fuck wasn't I called? I'm her best friend. But I understood later why I wasn't called, because they knew I lived in Alabama. Like, I don't live in Reno anymore. I couldn't
Right.
just jump into Tahoe and start pounding the streets for her.
Right.
I lived in Alabama. Like, what's Tori gonna do? Well, they all should have known what Tori's gonna do is jump on a
Get on a
fucking
plane
plane.
and go out there.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here while she's missing.
Right.
So I did. I jumped on a plane, and I had paid for so that I could have Wi-Fi on the plane.
Okay.
And I got a message while in flight. We found her. And
Oh, wow.
I was
Okay.
stoked. And we connived a plan for me to pretend I just came there for something else, and I was just in town because we didn't want to scare her that I came to look for her.
Gotcha.
And Jenny had her. And so how they found her was Jenny was scouring all over, and she was going down to the tracks where the tent city kind of place is, down on the train tracks in this really shitty part of Reno. And she had gone there more than once, walked up and down, talked to people, asked if they'd seen her, all this stuff.
Wow.
And it was always kind of a no thing. Well, at the very moment, so I believe very much in God, like sharing what you need at the time. And right while Jenny was looking over the fence, there was a medic team which went down there all the time to see if anybody needed medical supplies. They need needles, they need insulin, whatever, they need bandages, wound care and shit like that.
Yeah.
And right as the medic was in front of this tent talking to other people, she heard them asking if anybody needs help, and she came out of the tent to tell the medic he needed wound treatment. And as soon as she came out, Jenny happened to be looking over the fence and was like, "Holy shit, that's Kristen!" And she jumped over the fence, and she ran down there, and Kristen turned around and was like, "Hi, what are you doing here?" And was all excited. And Sean, one of our friends, was there, and Sean came running up, and she's like, "Come with me, I got to show you my rocks," because she was collecting rocks. And like, that's not normal, you know. And of course, you know, by then we kind of all realized that she's on drugs. There were some people that were, you know, not wanting to admit that she was really on drugs. And that the fight was just alcohol, and it was a mental health crisis, which it was. It definitely was a mental health crisis, but
being exacerbated.
But it
by
was
street drugs.
being exacerbated by drugs, you know. And I mean, I went down there and I picked her up from her sister's house, and I went and stayed the night at a friend of ours' house that night and made arrangements. And the next day I rented a cabin up in the woods in Tahoe, and I made a point to get a cabin that was up on Pioneer Trail, away from the casinos.
Primitive. Yes.
Yeah, you had to hike it a bit to get over there.
Yeah.
And then I spent every day taking care of her, detoxing her. I had to give her enough alcohol to keep her from having the
DTs.
alcohol withdrawals. DTs are so much worse
Yes.
than drugs.
Yes,
Weirdly
they
as it
are.
is, but drug detoxing is easier on the body and better for you
Yes.
than alcohol detoxing. A lot of people don't know this, but it is a factual thing. And but I spent all that time with her, and people don't realize, like, I wasn't sleeping because I was just listening for her, and she was up like a squirrel, you know, all over the place. I slept with the car keys, I slept with the credit cards, I slept with my purse, I slept with the keys to the front door. Yeah, and I locked it, you know. I mean, like, I made a point that she's not, and and it was miles for her to hike to get anywhere.
Gotcha.
And the other funny thing is, in the process of being there, this was May of last year.
Okay.
We had a blizzard snowstorm. Like, we heard it was gonna snow, and we ran into some
Oh, wow.
travelers
Uh-huh.
from out of towners. They're like, "Oh, do we need to get on the road and get over the hill?" And we're like, "It's May. It's gonna be a dusting. It'll be
Right,
nothing. Don't
right.
worry about." Oh my god, it was a massive snowstorm. It was whiteout conditions snowstorm. It was a blizzard.
That is funny. Hey, in May, always. That's
Yeah,
how we
yeah.
that's
It
how
does
was in
happen there.
Colorado. It does.
It happens.
Yeah.
But we thought for sure it's not gonna be that bad. But it was nice because of the nostalgia of it. We were in a cabin in
Oh,
Tahoe,
yeah.
and all 3 of us
All
are from
snowed
Tahoe,
in and
you know,
yeah.
and Donna came up, at the end, the last, like, 2.5 days that we were there, but, yeah, the first 10 days were brutal.
Oh, I bet.
Detoxing her
I
by
bet.
myself, and, you know, when she started getting clean and not sick anymore, because she went through this sick and everything else, but once she was over that, you know, she wanted to go. "Let's go down to the casino, and let's go down here," and, some people don't know this, but at the exact same time that it happened, just days before that, and I mean just days before that, I had a really bad dog bite on my leg, and my
Mm.
leg was highly infected. I had
Oh.
all sorts of medication I was taking. I had gone to the hospital. They put me on
Yeah.
antibiotics,
Yeah.
and, you know, but dog bites are really bad, and I got
Mhm.
a really bad dog bite on my leg. So I flew there with this massive wound on my leg,
Gosh.
and, twice I had to go to the doctor while I was there because my leg was hurting so bad. But at the same time, it was my excuse out of going to do things. So I
Mm.
was actually grateful for it.
Mhm.
So sometimes, you know, it is that, you know, I wonder now sometimes if God allowed my dog to bite me. It was by accident. It was because my 2 dogs were fighting and I got in the way. But did he allow my dog to bite me so that I would have an excuse because Kristen loved me so much, she wouldn't put me in pain? So I could use that as an excuse not to go to the
Mm.
casino, not go downtown, not do those
Right,
things that she
right.
wanted to go and start going. And I'd be like, "Oh, it hurts to do it,"
Mhm.
you know. Um, it was a good excuse and it worked.
And it
It
was
worked a lot.
legitimate too.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like you were making shit up or whatever.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like
Right. So, I mean, it was really a hard moment to go through, and, you know, I know there's a lot of other people. So the whole point of that was while we were going through that, before we found her, well, actually, it was kinda after we found her. So we knew she was in a tent then. So Donna and I, like, we rewrote the song for Green Acres to Tent Acres.
Mhm.
We renamed all the hotels tent names,
Yeah.
like, the Coleman Inn, you know, like the Rip Carlton.
Oh gosh.
You know, and it would, but it, as some people would be like, "Oh my God, you're making fun."
Right.
But it was our way of mentally handling it.
Mhm.
And I think what some people also don't understand is, like, I was in the medical field. I was a medic, and I was a medic also in the military, and I was a medic in as a civilian. I was an EMT, I was a paramedic. We see a lot of ugly shit. And our mental way of dealing with it is with really dark humor.
Absolutely.
And we
Yes.
may not make a joke you think is funny,
Mhm.
but it's how I was dealing with it. And
Mhm.
Donna has never worked in that field, but she has worked in law enforcement. So, you know, her and I were it was how we dealt with it. We were cracking jokes and we were cracking them to each other. We weren't
Mhm.
saying them to Kristen, but it was how we were dealing with it.
Mhm.
And it was very difficult. And I also I wrote several songs about it and what I was dealing with, how I was feeling. And everybody deals with their crises their own ways.
Exactly.
There's no
Exactly.
cookie cutter way to deal with it. But
Mhm.
what I'm trying to get at is on this show, we're not trying to tell you how to deal with it.
Mhm.
We're talking about how we have dealt with things.
Right. Right.
Something I might have gone through yesterday, which is kind of having someone tell me these things and then diagnose me, which I thought we weren't supposed to put labels on people. And, you know, you're not supposed to diagnose someone else. You're not a clinical psychologist. You're not
Right.
a psychologist. And you don't realize what you did to that person. You know, your words hurt too. Your words were cruel. Mine were just, you know, like, hey, we need to revamp this. We need to make it more exciting. I want this to be an entertainment. It's for an outlet. It's not meant to be a therapy session. It's not.
Well, and to, in my opinion, only for 100% my opinion, but there's solicited advice and then there's unsolicited
Mhm.
advice. And so or suggestion or whatever. And so like if somebody came at me with those words and labels and assessments and analytics and statistics, and I didn't ask for that, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, why are you even
Like,
doing that?
how do you even, right? Like, they have professional trained therapists that you can seek for professional help if you are looking for a diagnosis or treatment for a diagnosis. Then there's your buds
Yeah.
and your friends and people that you can bounce shit off of and people that you can
And
vent
a YouTube
to.
channel you can go to and
And
watch.
yes, and if you can relate, great. If not, okay.
Step
There's
off.
something out there that you are going to be able to relate to, but absolutely don't try to make things that you can't relate to conform so that you can relate.
Right. Well, and
And
I was also told not to bring politics into it. And what does Trump have to do with mental health? And what does politics have to do? A lot. Look at the freaking left. They're nuts.
well, and that's all we're being inundated with, no matter where you turn.
Hmm.
You now have to consciously
Watch something else.
stay away from it.
Yeah.
Because any media avenue that you go to, whether it's television, social media, radio, newspaper, there is some piece of politics somewhere.
Hmm.
So it's not something that anybody can avoid, and it very much is affecting people's mental health
Yeah.
on both sides of the
Right.
aisle
Right. Right. Exactly.
in different ways.
And how do you handle those things? Because, like, The View was not a political show,
No.
and it is now a political show.
Yes.
They now talk nothing but politics, really.
Yes.
They talk hardly anything else. And they're very triggering to people. But
Mhm.
like, I watch the shows that are popular on YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube. That's my fault. But like, I watch a lot of them, and they're very, very charged. You get Pierce Morgan and Uncensored,
Oh,
and you get four
yeah.
people on that panel, and he'll have, the other day he had a transgender who was screaming over people, had another liberal that was screaming over people, and Riley Gaines, and they were talking about Trump signing the bill on no more males in women's sports.
Mhm.
And the argument was, why? We should let them be. So Riley Gaines goes, well, what about Paralympics? Or no, somebody else on the panel said, should we just let men and women just compete against each other, period? Make it open.
Or co-ed.
And of course,
all the way
that
down.
person says, yeah, it should be that way. So no women will win anything because it will be 100% men. And then Riley Gaines comes back and goes, well, what about the Paralympics? Should they just compete with regular bodied people? And of course, their response was, well, yeah, they should. It should be fine. So no Paralympic will ever win anything either. There's a reason why there's separations. And, you know, I've even tiddled with the idea that, you know, could they have a transgender their own league of their own,
Mhm.
basically,
Mhm.
where they could do their own competitions. One, there's not enough of them to build a whole thing of it.
Mhm.
But then there's a lot of them, maybe transgenders, that would then join into some sports because you could still do levels,
Right.
where
Right.
you have to compete at a certain performance level, and you compete against the same people at that performance level.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
you compete finally when you've won all the way up, you compete against the best of the best. And of course, somebody watching the show commented on the comments, because I do like to read the comments sometimes, and they were like, "So that's still men against women," because in reality, it's still going to be the same thing.
It is.
So, but it's not. We have to stop with the whole equality thing, and that goes also in doing a. Yep. See, it clicked off again. I don't think this thing can handle
Oh,
the heater.
that might be what
That's what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Because it's off again. Because I'm like, it's starting to get cold again.
Yeah.
So I think that it's the same thing with YouTube channels. Like, not every show is for every person.
Exactly.
And when I say I'm talking about mental health, sobriety, addiction, it's because I am sharing my own life experiences, things I've gone through, things I see or things I witness. Boom, you too. Like, let's go back and forth about talking about something we just witnessed. I'm watching The View lying their asses off, but yet coming unglued about the results.
Right.
I'm like, but you're not even telling the truth.
Right.
Like, you're still perpetrating a lie and then coming unglued about it and judging people. And you have people that are getting so bent out of shape about Doge and the government. So it's kind of crazy. We have 1 minute, and we're going to start a very new segment that we just came up with last night. Has anybody watched or seen the interview with JD Vance? I'm going to have to put together a little video for this, but talk for just a second and I'm going to pull it up.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a fun little segment that we want to do, similar to Dear Abby column, but we're going to call it Dear Margaret. And basically, it will just be answering questions that are presented to us about current events or personal events or something that you may have run across in the news or in your local Walmart, whatever. And you can write in and ask questions about it, and we'll give you the best answers that we can possibly muster up, depending on where our brains are at that day.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to pause this for a second so I can actually pull it up here for just a second. Give me 1 second and I'll pull it right up here.
And it's
Actually, I can't right now. Hold on. I got to move it to this other screen so it won't be messed up. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I think it's this one.
But it was Margaret
think
with
it's this
Margaret
one.
Brennan and JD
I
Vance.
think it's this one. So let me share the screen. And forgive me, I'm still learning this banana stuff here.
Yay,
And
yay,
it's
software.
it's obviously it's so I don't really care,
I don't
Margaret.
really care, Margaret.
Yeah.
And
I
so
feel the same way about it. Like, there's a lot of things out there that people bitch and complain about it, and they're having their mental breakdowns and they're having their crises that are happening, but it's happening because they are triggered by whatever the problem is, And I feel the same way. I don't really care, Margaret.
Mhm.
I don't really care that you want to make everyone feel this way or that way. I don't really care that you want to put your problems off on everyone else. I don't really care.
Mhm.
And we have to stop worrying so much about what somebody else says. Worry about yourself.
Right.
I think you should police yourself. You
Absolutely.
know, police yourself. Like, okay, I may have said something that I shouldn't have. Okay, I'll give you that. I I mouth vomit all the time. So there's a likelihood I might have said something I shouldn't have said. But if I say something that I shouldn't have said to someone else and you were present, how should or would you handle that situation?
If you said something that
About or to someone else
okay,
that you found offensive,
okay.
what would you do about it after it's over with?
Well, I would privately maybe. It really depends. I
Would you come
mean,
to me and tell me, "Hey, that was
I
bothersome," or would you
yeah,
go to the other person and tell them, "Apologize for me?"
no, I would definitely approach the person who was offensive
Right.
in my opinion. Like
Well,
if I found that
and
person to
I
be
know why you're
offensive.
struggling with this because you are the same as I am.
Yeah,
I don't
like
really get offended by anything.
yeah, so
Like,
it's so hard.
you would
So
really have
you
to say
have to,
something to
yeah,
make me I would be like,
yeah,
I wouldn't care what they said,
yeah.
but if I was really bothered by something they said or their tone of voice or whatever, I go right to them,
Now,
and
what's offensive to me is having an issue with me and talking to everybody else about it but me.
right, talking to someone else
That's
instead. I feel like that's kind of
insanely
backstabbing.
offensive to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's disgusting. It's dirty. It's like you don't do that
Well,
to
if you got a
people.
problem with me,
Bec-
come and tell me so I
yeah.
can fix the problem if I want to fix it. If I don't and I think it's like it's not a problem or it's not a problem for me, then that's a
Mhm.
you problem, not a me
Right.
problem.
The most I can offer you is I'm sorry that you found that to be offensive.
I'm sorry that bothered you.
It
That's
wasn't
yeah,
intentional.
right. And
I that was not my intention. So at that point the ball's in their court. Like
right.
now if you're being purposely offensive to somebody just to be a a douche canoe, then I mean you've got what's coming to you. But
Right.
if it was just something in conversation that was said or like I feel like most of the time now people are offended because they're committed to being offended by certain
They're
things.
looking for things to
And
be
they're
offended
very
by.
it's very inauthentic because everybody's offended by the same stupid shit. So
Well, and
like
it's also where you have a lot of people now going like, um, they're analyzing instead of communicating. They're
yes.
analyzing instead of talking, like, they're analyzing what you're saying, what does that mean by that? What does that mean? What are you really saying? And how about just have a conversation?
Right.
Stop analyzing the
Right.
conversation and have the conversation.
Keep everything at face value.
Yeah,
Like
well, and there
and
are a lot of real people. I mean, I'm finding that most of them are in the MAGA community because we are less
yeah.
offended by people. Like, you do you, boo, and
Right.
do your thing. I don't really give a shit. Like,
Right.
don't bring it into my yard. Like, if you
Mhm.
want to let weeds overgrow your yard, let them grow.
Yeah.
As soon as it starts crossing over my fence line, I'm going to
Mhm.
call you out on your weeds.
For sure.
Now, I may, and I'm using weeds as an analogy, but
Mhm.
I may go over and weed eat right at my fence. And when it gets out of control, I may go over to your house and say something like, hey, knock on the door.
Mhm.
And I mean, look at the people during the campaign season where somebody has a Trump sign in their yard and someone else feels they have the right to go over there and stomp on it,
Mhm.
kick it over or whatever. There
Mhm.
was there was one that was really funny. They were videotaping in their car this guy that was driving was super all pissed off about that they had a Trump sign on the grass
Mhm.
as they were driving. He's like, I can't believe they put that there. Blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, watch, I'm going to drive it over. So she takes out, and I mean, I guess she already had the video out. I don't know if she was planning on video or if they had already planned
Yeah.
on doing this and going over it, but it backfired hella bad because he drove over the Trump sign. And she's like, I can't believe you just did that. And like, not 50 feet, 100 feet down the road, you hear the, and he gets out and he's throwing a
Yeah.
massive temper
Yeah.
tantrum outside of the car because he's like, I can't believe these fuckers did this. And there's
Yeah.
a piece of wood because the Trump
Yeah.
sign is attached to his car
Right.
because there was a piece of wood with nails in it.
to catch
And
that tire.
You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done it, Margaret. I really
Fafo.
don't care, Margaret.
Fafo.
Yeah.
MAGA Fafo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, come
exactly.
on.
So
Or the ones where I don't know if you ever saw the one where they had put shocking or electrified the signs.
the sign.
Yeah.
So if they touched
So then we went to pull it out there.
and then they get all mad about it.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't have
How
touched it in the
dare
first
you?
place.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you step on someone else's property to destroy something that doesn't belong to you?
It doesn't belong to you in the first place.
How dare you?
Yeah. You had no business there in the first place.
No, you can't be mad at how other people's react to your action. Like
And then they're mad at the
they're
person.
protecting their own property,
Yeah.
which they have the absolute constitutional right to do.
And you're mad at them.
And you're mad at them for doing so.
You shouldn't have been. You know what? You wouldn't have gotten electrocuted. You wouldn't have gotten a flat tire if you just
If you
didn't get
just-
on somebody else's property.
Yeah.
If you had stayed on the road instead
Yeah.
of swerving off the side of the road
Yeah.
to knock out somebody's sign. I mean, at this point, we all got enough awareness that we knew you had to protect them if you wanted to put
Mhm.
them out,
Right.
because there were crazy people out there. I can't. I never had to worry about it here.
Not here.
We have
no.
too many Trump supporters here to have
Yeah.
worried about it. But if I still lived in Reno, I
Mhm.
probably would have done something like that.
Mhm.
I tell you what, we put cameras up on our flagpole because during 2020, when Biden got elected, it was one of my viral TikToks. I went out and I did a TikTok of taking down my American flag. And I was playing music and I was taking down my American flag. And I went out there and I stood at my it's really funny. I went and stood at my flagpole, and I had one of those big tall flagpoles. Went out and stood at my flagpole and I'm playing a song and I saluted it. And I brought my hand. I saluted it like you do when
Yeah.
we lost a soldier.
Yeah.
And I saluted it like that. And some people might get offended by it. I got a whole lot of people that were like, that was so cool. And then I brought the flag down and I put it over my shoulder. And then I said, I'm replacing it with the Biden flag. And I stopped the TikTok just to get people, I guess, triggered on my own side. And I have people sending messages like, why would you honor Biden? And I'm like, watch part 2. And then part 2 was me putting up the Biden flag and it said, fuck Joe Biden. Or I think it said, fuck you, Brandon, or something.
Oh, okay.
So I put that one up, but underneath of it, I put the black American flag. No surrender, no quarter.
Mhm.
And I had so many, that was one of my viral TikToks. And I had so many people message and go, that was really cool. That was really cool. Because like at first they thought I'm kowtowing to Biden.
Right.
And I'm removing my American flag. And then I put the Brandon flag up, but they're like, but why did you take? Oh, okay. Cause underneath of it was the other one. And they're like, oh, okay. I like it. Cause and I put no quarter. And then I turned around and marched off. And everybody was like, oh, that's so cool. But it was my way of dealing with it because I was pissed. I was upset about what happened and you cannot convince me he won legitimately. And I think there's enough people we will say, okay, he won.
Yeah.
I'll be like Trump. He kind of won. But,
Yeah.
he kind of sort of won, but he didn't. As soon as he say, I kind of lost, they're like, so can you at least relent now that you lost the 20? Well, no,
no.
I didn't. Because no, not really. Because you guys stole it by cheating.
Yeah.
100%. You won.
Yeah, you got your
Because
4 years.
the numbers worked, but
You should have done better.
But now I'm glad they won.
Yeah, and
because they got to see what they wanted.
Yes, exactly.
I mean,
it probably worked out better that way.
It would have probably not gone the way we wanted it this time because there was still enough disdain.
Yes.
And I think that is a mental health issue. The Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing, should be diagnosed. But there was still enough disdain for him at the 2020 election and thereafter that it took them really about 2.5 to 3 years of Biden regime to really, really move over.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest with you, I think we just have built a whole new party.
Yeah,
I think MAGA is just a whole new party altogether.
I think so.
Because it's libertarians, it's liberals, it's conservatives, and it's constitutionalists all kind of rolled into one.
Yeah, for sure.
Because not everybody thinks the same way.
No.
I'm not 100% conservative.
I'm not either. And I'm not 100% liberal. I'm not 100% like, I'm just for what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And people who've come before us have put certain laws in place from the beginning. I mean, the foundational laws, and because they knew what the potential could be.
Right. And they were put in there for protection.
Yes. And here we are all these hundreds of years later.
Needing them.
Yes. And trying to nitpick and cherry pick and change this here and tweak this here and eradicate this altogether. And it's like, you're just trying to erode the foundation. And no, back then they had muskets and cannons. And so, yeah, we're not like toting those around anymore. And maybe, I, as a gun carrying person, do agree there needs to be stricter gun laws in certain instances, because when you have children showing up to school with handguns in their book bags,
right?
I mean, there needs to be more accountability there. In the laws process are in place of attaining the guns.
Right. The laws are in place. We need to reinforce those, enforce those laws.
Sure, yes. And that's where the failure is happening. So you can't punish the whole basket of, you can't punish every...
Well, should we ban cars now?
I've had guns for decades, and I have never once gone out and pulled out a gun and been like,
just shot yourself.
Where's all the liberals?
Yeah.
But they imagine
that's what
we
we're doing.
are.
Yeah, we're sitting there watching the TV, just polishing up the bullets.
Right, but at the same time, they're sharing recipes on TikTok of how to make poison to poison white males.
Right.
Right after the election, because now we're living in a society where all of these white men are just going to stomp around with clubs and drag us around by our hair and beat us half to death and pump out babies. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Do you think any conservative woman would allow that to happen?
I know.
You're crazy.
Well, and when you have people touting that, I think it was Sunny Hostin on The View said, I now have less rights than my grandmother did.
Are you?
What the? Tell me you don't have a mental problem.
Like, for real.
Like you stop
how
watching
much did
CNN.
you get paid to say that line?
Stop watching CNN. First
That's
of all,
crazy.
because and he's not running around with if there was going to be any buses running around picking anybody up, it should be down on the 101 right now, because they just get on the bus. Just get on the bus. Just
I mean, they're offering themselves up as a sacrifice.
and all they have to do is just keep going straight. You'll run right into
Right into the
Mexico.
border.
Just
It's right there.
We brought you load
Yeah.
to drop off, you know, and there
Pick up
was
some pinatas on the way
oh my
back.
God, when YouTube kind of first started, there was a YouTuber. He got banned because he was racist, or it was racist, but it was funny. I found it humorous. But he was taking a truck and going, you know, where they all stand around on corners in all different cities to get work for the day,
Yeah.
$20
That's
or
how
whatever.
you got people.
I hired him. I ain't gonna lie.
When we first moved here, I was like so disappointed
That there aren't
when we went to Lowe's at 5:30 a.m. and there was not a whole crew of dudes to pick up. Okay,
I
I'm
hired
like,
them in
we moved
DC.
to hell.
I hired them in DC for one of my MAGA events. I literally went down and bought the wood and stuff at Home Depot, and then hired them at Home Depot and brought them to our event thing
Yeah.
for MAGA, and they put our stage together.
and it was probably fabulous.
And they did a great
Well-built
job.
and with quickness and
And I think it cost me $200 total. And I think that was because there was 10 of them. And I paid $20 a piece, and they were like, and they negotiated that up from I think I was going to pay 10 or 15. Actually, I think I started at 10.
Okay.
And then I went to 15. And then I said, listen, $20 and I'll buy you lunch. And he was like, okay, $20 a piece, we'll buy lunch. And I bought all the supplies, bought them lunch, bought them actually breakfast too. And then they went out there and they built our stage for our event that we were doing. And I mean, there was a lot more stuff that I already had, like the speakers and the mics and all
Sure.
that stuff. So they
Sure.
they built all of it. And then when we turned around, they decorated the stage with all the supplies we had outside of what I was paying them for.
Wow.
And then one of the guys took all the scrap and built a podium.
Wow.
And he was like, what event is this? And I said, Trump MAGA. And he's like, can we stay? And I was like, sure. And I did say, are you legal? I'm just asking for a friend. And he's like, no. Definitely not legal. But we love Trump. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're welcome to stay. So they stayed through our whole event, which was pretty cool. But it was funny because we had the ability to do that. So this YouTuber would go down to where they would all gather, and he would say, as many can fit in the truck, I'm going to take you to a job site. And then he would drive them to immigration. And as soon as he pulled into immigration, he'd start blowing the horn. And
That's so fucked up.
it's messed up. It's horrible. But I still laughed when I saw
I
it.
know.
I mean, but it was horrible.
Like, dang,
Like that.
dude, that
That was messed up.
crappy.
And I thought it was messed up. Even then,
But it
I
is
still
funny.
laughed at it. It was still funny. But he rightfully got kicked off for kind of being
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
And I was like, I think that's
because
wrong.
that's
Entrapment.
intentionally.
Yeah. I don't agree with that
absolutely.
stuff.
Mm-mm.
You know, and I've had a big talk in my head. We'll get to Dear Margaret in a minute, but I've had a big debate in my own head, and I've talked to some other people about the immigration thing, where people are like, oh, just take them all, get everyone who's illegal out of here. And I disagree with that. I
do
think
too.
doing what Trump's doing right now and going after all the criminals
Yes.
and get the bad ones out.
Yes.
And if they're arrested,
Yes.
and I hate to say it, but if you're in bad company and you're caught illegally there too,
Mhm.
I think it's like the guilt by association type of problem.
Absolutely.
And
Birds of a feather.
if they're doing nefarious things,
Mhm.
you're probably doing nefarious things as well. Like, you're not going to
For
harbor
sure.
a criminal
No.
if you're not kind of in the same mindset
For
of the
sure.
criminal. So
sure.
I think birds of a feather flock together.
Yes.
So rightfully, they should take you too.
Mhm.
But I definitely don't want them splitting up families.
Right.
I definitely, and I think there should be a
Or
10-year
running
time
into
frame.
schools and like
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know that I have seen
That hasn't been
proof of
happening.
that.
No, it's been said,
It's
but
been
there's been no
said,
proof.
but I haven't seen any proof of it yet.
There's been
Nor
no
have there
videos, there's been no
no.
proof. Just people
Um,
who have said this happened to my so and so. And they're
right.
like, well, then they came and got, and for one, I heard it was a mother. That they came and got the mother of this kid or whatever.
Mhm.
And they're like, well, that's wrong. They're just taking this kid or but do you actually know for a fact that she had no criminal? You know, did she commit a crime?
Mhm.
Besides being illegal, did she go and commit a crime?
Mhm.
Was she actually on a list for something else? And it just so happens you think she was clean,
Right.
but you don't know because they didn't issue you the warrant. They
Right.
didn't show you the warrant. So are you just saying hyperbole for
Mhm.
them and virtue signaling for them?
Because they're taking clips and sound bites and
Mhm.
they're piecing them together and
Mhm.
they're perpetuating this poor little girl is now left alone where okay, that poor little girl is now left alone, but don't you agree with unaliving unborn babies? Like, so how you like how do you use that piece of the situation and say ripping families apart, but yet you are 100% completely against traditional families.
Right.
Hispanic people are 100% in support of traditional families,
Mhm. I
right?
right.
So
Absolutely.
so
Go
how
to
are
a
the
Hispanic household. Their mother, their father, their grandparents, and they may not all live together. They most of the time have separate homes, but
Mhm.
they live nearby.
Yes.
If they're elderly or old, they are taking care of them.
Yes.
They might have even moved them back into the home, but you
Mhm.
go there and I will tell you they'll have the cleanest house.
Yep.
They will cook you the best
Yes.
food
Always.
and they are very family oriented.
Yes.
And the parents know what the kids are doing.
Mhm.
They know what their homework is
Mhm.
and they correct their behavior.
Yes.
So I'm all for a Hispanic
Totally.
household. Like they
Totally.
are very good people. Now, granted, I do have a bias myself. I'm not Hispanic, but my sister-in-law is. So my
Mhm.
niece and nephew are part Hispanic.
Mhm.
And I love them. They're amazing. They're great people. And I get defensive over that,
Mhm.
but for the right reasons.
Mhm.
And her dad came over the right way.
Mhm.
And I am defensive of it because I don't think you should put them all in one basket. They're not all the same.
They're not.
And we shouldn't be going and rounding up everybody
No.
just because some came here. Yes, I do agree. If you've been here for 20 years, you probably should have got your papers. But I think there's a time frame that we can give them and say, okay, let's look at their whole thing. Let's look at their jacket, so to speak,
Mhm.
and let's vet them now and do a fast track. Like,
Well,
hey,
and
you've
that's what
already
needs to
been
happen.
here for this
Yes.
period of time. And I think that's what Trump will probably
Mhm.
evaluate
Mhm.
and look at because cost wise, we can't afford to just go door to door, show your papers.
Right.
And nobody, I think, in this country, even MAGA people, want to see that ever happen.
No.
I don't want to see
Never.
you knocking on the
Never.
doors and checking to see if there's
Never.
Mexicans here
No
or there's
way.
other
Anything.
nationalities here. I don't
Yes.
want to see that happen ever.
No.
But there's going to have to be a way to fast track them
Mhm.
into getting their citizenship. If they've been here for a certain period of time and it appears that they've assimilated and it appears that they are contributing to society, they're working, they're paying their bills, they're doing stuff. Now, I do disagree if they're just here freeloading.
Right. Right.
You know, you shouldn't just be
Right.
here sitting on your couch watching YouTube and The
Collecting a
View,
check. And,
collecting a
yeah.
check. You know?
Right.
I do have a problem with that part of it. So
Absolutely.
if
But
you're,
I have an issue with Americans doing that as well.
oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, unless you are legitimately disabled and are unable to contribute to you or your own existence financially,
And there's ways to do that now where it's not physically
Exactly.
exacerbating.
Exactly. So there really
Do
is
a good YouTube channel and you can start making money.
Yeah, and
you know,
you
I
don't
mean,
even need to have legs. I mean,
yeah,
you know, like, what fuck-
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, if
I'm
you can go
just
to work
saying,
every day
like,
with your bad hip,
yeah, like I've literally needing a hip replacement so bad, but yet I'm hoisting dogs that weigh as much as I do around, and
that's
just
not
going to,
very big
like,
though.
so I don't really shut up. You're all, don't blow over.
I'm lifting dogs that are the same weight as me. So you're having
You're
a
like,
really
what,
hard
30
time with Chihuahuas, are
Yeah,
you?
those cockers are really killing you, huh?
I think she meant like I'm lifting dogs that are 3 times my weight, double my weight. When she's putting up Art, when she picks my pit bull up and puts him on the table, he is definitely beyond her weight. It's like watching her wrestle with a polar bear. I mean, he doesn't
But,
wrestle; he's gentle.
You know, he is gentle.
He just
He's
hops
so
up.
sweet.
Actually, he's really.
He's
And
so
I think you've
sweet.
taught a lot of dogs to just get the hell up there on their own.
Yeah. Well, they know too. They're like, this bitch can't pick me up. I'll get this.
I'll do that.
You're not dropping me.
You're gonna break my legs. I'm not doing that. Yeah, exactly. So that goes to show that we have different viewpoints about it's not just straight we want everything this way.
Right.
And you know, I mean, we can get into all the different debates, but that one for right now, because it's very prominent on what's going on the scene right now. And I think we have to be careful with exaggerating the truth.
Right.
Let's tell the truth as it's actually happening and not just make it. I mean, and I go after Republicans or conservatives or MAGA people for the same thing. If I see you sharing a meme or a news article or a story that I know is false, or as soon as I see it, I don't share. I go and vet it.
Yes.
I look at it, I
Yes.
pull it up, I research it. I want to see, did that really happen? Is that really true? Did they really say this? And when I find out that isn't true, that didn't happen, my comment on it is stop acting like the left and sharing bullshit.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
And I don't care if it's bullshit that you're making out about The View or about the left or whatever. Don't make shit up. They have enough problems of their own. We don't have to make anything up.
That's true. And the minute you make something up,
now you look,
then you affect the whole thing, because it's at that point now where, you know, you can't make a mistake, because that's going to be pounded.
Well, yeah, everything you're doing is going to be supervised and analyzed and talked about.
Because I think at this point, it didn't matter if it was Elon or if it was Steve Urkel.
No, it wouldn't have mattered.
It didn't matter.
It wouldn't have mattered if it was
it was the Trump administration.
Elon starts with an E, and so does Elmo. They could have hired Elmo to do the same job, and they would have the same reaction.
Exactly.
So, and he could have done it with, hey, I want to take you to the store and never let you go back to work. I mean, I can't do a really good.
Me.
Yeah, you can't fire me. I'm a puppet.
Stick your hand in my ass again, Epstein.
Oh my God, I love it.
Sorry.
That's so true though. Like, and that's the problem, is they think that they have the floor because Elon is doing, and you know, I watched Elon at CPAC when he was interviewed, and they asked him, well, what about what these people are saying, that you're going into this sensitive information in the taxes and IRS and Social Security because you're trying to get people's information, or you're trying to steal people's Social Security? Because that is actually what the left is trying to say, is that he's out to try to steal their Social Security checks or whatever. And he paused and he giggled. And he said, yeah, if only I could get enough Social Security people's checks and Social Security numbers, I might be able to buy nice things. And the irony of it was so clear, because literally the man is worth $400 billion. He only owns 20% of Tesla.
Mhm.
And you think he wants your $400 Social Security check, and he is not after your Social Security number and information. He's
Absolutely
not
not.
after mine. He's
Absolutely
not
not.
he's not going to look through my taxes to
No.
see if I filed correctly.
No.
He wants to know theirs. Probably the media personnel's too.
Yes.
He wants to know, and it's we the people want to know, not just Elon. We want to know.
Yes.
How have you AOC, when you were a failed Coyote Ugly
Mm.
bartender and you're now worth $12 million and you've been in Congress for what, 8 years?
Yeah.
How are you now worth $12 million?
And why aren't you sharing those secrets? If
With-
it was
Well, I do know
legit,
part of her secrets
it
is
was
she
legit.
probably buys the same stock Pelosi does. That's probably the insider trading that happens within them.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if anybody should stand up, it should be Snoop Dogg's girlfriend. Like, she should stand up and say, "Hey, what about insider trading, people? I went to prison for this shit." You know,
But they should be sharing some of their
insight.
yeah.
Like, how do I pad my pockets too? Oh yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
right. I have to go and kowtow to some communist doing some bullshit and pretending they're gonna, I don't know what, train shrimp on a
Put
treadmill.
shrimp on a treadmill. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Like, I believe that happened.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, but what was the money used for?
Right,
Whose
exactly,
money? Whose pocket did
exactly.
you pad with that fake
Yes.
money?
Yes.
That's what we, the people, want to know this stuff for real. And it does mess with all of our mental health that we've been letting this happen for 40 plus years. Like, there's a problem with this.
when every day of your life, and not, I mean, maybe not everybody, but a good majority of the population, it's in the forefront of their mind right now.
Everybody's thinking about it. Because as
Income,
much as
how much things cost,
uh-huh.
that is a daily wear and tear on your mental health.
And as much as the media and The View and all these other people want to say, we don't care, we want these, shouldn't shut USAID down and all these other things, that as much as they're all saying that, we, the people that voted for this,
Yeah.
are saying, go get them.
Go get them.
Go get them. Get that chainsaw out and do some more. So with
Yes.
that, let's do, because we got
Dear
10 minutes
Margaret.
left.
Dear Margaret.
left.
Okay.
So we are going to do a new segment where people write in and they share with us what their why is my control not working? Hello. Hold on a second. Let me get to it because it doesn't want to function. There we go. So hello. Oh, that's going really fast. I'm trying to read it because this is somebody's write-in to us to say, hey, scroll speed should not be at 75%. That's going really, I don't think I can read that fast. Oh, that's pretty funny. Okay, so we're going to read these segments and we're going to answer these questions. So pretend like this is Dear Abby, but it's called Dear Margaret. So this is the first one. You're going to read the second one. I'm going to read the first one and we'll answer them together.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't see it though.
I will
so-
turn it around for you.
Okay.
Dear Margaret, I have worked for the federal government at USAID for 17 years, and DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, shut the doors and sent me home. I was fired by Elon Musk, one of Trump's henchmen. What should I do? Signed, DOGE victim. So, what do you say, Margaret, about this DOGE victim? I say, suck it up, Buttercup. Your scam season is over. Hit the bricks, Charlie. Go get another job.
Yeah, I mean, you can always learn to code.
Yeah.
That was Biden's suggestion on
Yeah.
his first day when he
Wasn't-
laid
wasn't
off
that about
over
all the Trump people?
$100,000 or 100,000 oil workers and
Yeah,
pipeline
go learn
workers.
to code.
Go learn to code.
Mhm.
I mean, or go learn to count, because it seems like they're going to need some more auditors, because there's a lot of government to uncover
There's
and
a
make
lot
efficient.
going on that
There's a
needs to
lot.
happen. So
And
I think go get another job.
yeah,
Um,
I
okay,
mean,
number
yeah.
2. You want me to read both of them, or
Yeah,
you want to
because
read?
I
'em?
can't
Okay.
see.
Well,
I
this is where I read it from.
Oh, gotcha.
Which I don't think I actually changed it to the other camera, but I will change it to this camera this time. So now you can actually see me on that camera. So I'm going to read this one next. I was recently told I can no longer work from home and have to return to the office. I have a comfortable seat and I watch my child during the day. Trump and his henchmen gave me the option to resign or return to the office. What should I do? Signed, wrecked home worker.
Well, you could always become a home wrecker.
Go find you a new man that'll let you sit around and do nothing.
I mean, hey.
I mean, were you a valued employee? Were you pulling your weight? Were you really doing it? And I have to say, if it's a valuable job, how many years do you have in the government? That's the things I would say. How long have you had? Because one, didn't they give them 8 months basically of severance with benefits for 8 months, like till September?
Okay, so I have several clients that are actually that work on the Arsenal
Mhm.
for NASA, are government contractors. And I don't hold back with people, like, because they talk to me about where they work or what they do. And so I've asked, hey,
Yeah, my husband works for the federal
how
government.
has Doge rolled out into your sector of your government job? And
Mhm.
one of my clients on Friday said she got notified on Friday that she is the Doge contact person for her department there on the Arsenal.
Uh-huh.
So when Doge shows up on the Arsenal to conduct
She's gonna be
whatever
the
audit,
contact
she's
person.
going to be the person. She's like, I might get to meet Elon. That might be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, like
But she said she wasn't like happy about that, like I guess that responsibility, but she understands that it's necessary. So, but in answer to this question, up until 4 years ago, everybody set their alarm and they
And
woke
got
up
up
in the
and went to work.
morning and they got in their vehicle and they drove to a workspace and they did a job.
And if you didn't, it was because you owned your own business and you worked for yourself already.
That's it. Like,
And,
that
like,
was it.
my husband worked from home for quite some time after COVID.
Mhm,
We had a whole office. It's now a guest room
mhm.
because they were notified by his command. He works at a higher command
Mhm.
unit. And they were notified, I think, in December. Or no, it happened way earlier, but they were notified months and months ago
Mhm.
that they weren't putting up with it no more. Everybody had to come back to work.
Mhm.
Everybody had to come back into the office, and it pretty much you had to have, like, a serious reason, and it has to be approved for you to work from home. And, it's not just a, "I wanna work from home. I wanna remote work." No.
Mhm.
It was told to that you're essential personnel, you work for the Department of Defense,
Mhm.
you have to be in the office. Like, we do serious work
Absolutely.
here, and
Absolutely.
I think part of that is, and I'm gonna side with them, is they have no 100% control over whether or not you're actually working or you're babysitting your
That's right.
and I call it babysitting your own kids if it's during work hours.
That's right.
Are you doing the dishes? Are you
Yep.
doing laundry?
Yep.
Are you mopping the floors?
Exactly.
Are you Facebook scrolling? Are you
Yeah.
playing games? Are you watching a TV show while you're working and you're, "Oh, I gotta answer this real quick. Back to my show."
Mhm.
Like, what are you actually doing?
Yep.
It's our tax money paying for it. So,
Exactly.
is it inconvenient for me that my husband now has to go to work? Yeah, kinda. It kinda is, because when I needed his help to pick something up, I could be like, "Hey, can you give me 5 seconds and give me a
Right.
hand?"
Right.
I can't do that now. I have
Right.
to wait till he gets home.
Right.
So yeah, it is a little bit of an inconvenience, but hello, that's his job. He has a job.
Mhm.
That's what pays for our bills. That's what pays for our house. So you know what? You would have a choice. They gave you a choice.
Mhm.
Either sign the resignation, which is now already shut down. It's done. You had to have already submitted it last week.
Yeah.
But either take the resignation
And still
and
get your
you
full
get
pay.
full pay for 8 months. From the time
Yes.
that they did it, it was 8
Yes.
months full pay with your benefits. If you have
Mhm.
medical, everything stays until, and if you can't find a legitimate job in 8 months, and I'm betting there's some of those people that if you rethink it and there's another government job closer to you or that you qualify for, you might be able to resubmit it and say I would rather have my government job and go back. Now I do think it's funny because somebody brought this up. Who was the lady who was there for 33 years? Oh, the head of Social Security.
Oh, yeah.
She quit and walked away and quit her job. She'd been there for 33 years. I'm going to put my 2 cents fucking worth in here for a second. Hear me out. Okay, my husband works for the federal government. I know this. I know how the retirement plans work. For him, his age, his time in service, he has 29 years. He has to be 56 and 10 months old and have served a certain amount of time. He's eligible for retirement now based on time of service, but he's not of age eligibility. So he has 1 year, as of February, he has 1 year to be age eligible, and then he gets full benefits and his full retirement pay. You are doing some shady fucking bullshit working for the federal government, and I want to know where the money is. Follow the money. Because why
Yes.
would any fucking person that's been there for 33 or 34 years quit?
There's no way.
They would never
No.
quit
No.
unless there's something they're gonna find,
Yeah.
and she's hoping to not go to jail.
Yep.
That is the only
There's
thing.
there's no logical explanation for that.
There is nothing that
No.
says that they aren't going to find something, because she would just say, you know what? Can you give me early retirement? Or I'll just sit it out until I retire. They would not take the resignation, and they would not just quit.
No,
She didn't take the resignation. She up and
She
quit.
quit.
She resigned.
Gave up everything, right?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
don't do that
that's
unless they're going to find
no.
something, or there's something
No way.
nefarious you've been doing
Absolutely.
that they might uncover, and you're scared. That is the only way I think that you actually have that thing. So our
Agreed.
time is up, but I'm going to read a few
Oh,
of the
okay.
comments that we had.
Oh.
And I'm not sure what they relate to at the time, but I'm sure he's looking at it saying like it's referring to different things we were saying, but bobcats are not mountain lions. That's what Logan said. So I think it's referring to
a long time ago.
calling,
Another show
but
a
it's-
long time ago.
but it's talking about, but no, this was on this show.
No, but he's referring to
something else. Yeah.
I'll tell you.
You'll tell me later. Okay. And then there was a high, which we were ignoring
Oh.
these. And then there was a, I think that's the Simpsons. And then what does Trump have to do with mental health? Have you seen the absurdity of the woke? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Steve said didn't come through. Oh, I think that's when I tried to call. And dear Margaret, another example of Trump's hyperbole is taking shape when Trump offered the crazy I got to put this on the screen cuz I can't see it properly. I can't see it there either. Crazy idea of turning Gaza into a resort of some sort of nice place he was saying, we're moving in and going to take over. Yeah, exactly. And then let's see, what was the next one? Like most,
Oh, yeah, okay.
most is Trump's ish
Like
hyperbole.
most of Trump's
Can you read it?
hyperbole,
Yeah.
many jumped on the ridicule bandwagon,
Yeah.
while the target of the hyperbole was motivated into high gear. The Arab nations were motivated to come up with an Arab solution.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the
Mhm.
whole point, is he's trying to get you to think. And sometimes we're just talking in assessments or giving opinions,
Mhm.
and trying to see people react. And he wanted to see how they're going to react.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said that the woke can't see beyond their own noses. Absolutely. And we have to pull you around by your hair if we have to pull you around by your feet. Yeah, because we have no rights anymore. We've lost all of
That
our
had
rights.
to be my
So,
husband.
yeah, exactly.
But if you drag them around by their feet, their mouths fill up with sand faster.
Oh my God, that's funny. Anyway,
See, and we find that funny. Like I find that
it
shit funny.
I was not offended. I think it's funny.
There's a woman out there who would be
But
offended by
true,
that.
you
Like
gotta pull them by their feet or their mouths.
their
fill
mouths
up
will
with
fill
sand.
up with sand.
And plus, if you are pulling me by my hand or by my hair, then I can grab you with my hands and trip you and make you fall down. But if you're dragging me by my feet, my hands have nowhere to grab.
Yeah, and I won't be talking.
Now that I've
stop talking.
now that I've lost all my rights,
I know.
I guess the men can go out and get a big stick now and put us in our place. But it ain't happening, people. So stop jumping on this bullshit wagon that you keep riding on. Anyway,
Yep.
that is it for Girl Talks.
We'll be back tomorrow night.
We'll be back tomorrow night. Our time has changed to 7 o'clock. So be here at 7 o'clock. Hopefully this is a better time for people. And
Hope so.
again, we want to see you there.
Yep.
Thank you for watching. And remember to follow, subscribe, and like, and follow all of our socials at Girl Talks, GURLTAUX. And we will talks about it. We're going to talks about it tomorrow.
Yep.
Bye.
Talks to you later.